October 14th, Inner Circle Mastermind. So welcome everybody. And now that we got all our business out of the way, we can get started. But yeah, hope you guys have had a chance to go through this. Melissa, do you want to start off on Think and Grow Rich? I'm just kidding.
Yes, this is a book. It's called Think and Grow Rich.
No, this is a good chapter though. And I know for a fact
I'm sorry.
we're in chapter 9, which is on persistence.
Okay.
Which I think it's a good chapter. I think it's an important chapter, and I also think it starts to tie some of the other things all together. And so yeah, let's start, Liz.
Okay. Yes, you know me, I totally read it. And I loved it. And I was just kind of glancing through to see what I wanted to talk about because I have a whole bunch of stuff underlined. But I think that, just a second, there's so many things about persistence that's so good. But one of the things that I liked about how he wrote about it and what he did in this chapter is, and he's so good about this throughout the whole book, is that he gives lots of examples as the why behind our actions. And when we know our why, then we can actually do something about it to change it. And he's really good at saying that there's always hope to change. Like, this is what you need to be doing. Persistence needs to be a part of who you are. You need to be persistent, end of story, if you want to achieve anything. But I just love how he takes the time to say, these are the main reasons why people aren't persistent, and you should try changing it because you can. And I love that about this. And so it's on page 205 in my book, but I think this is a different version than what other people have. But he calls it in the section called Symptoms of Lack of Persistence.
Yep.
And he lists 16 different reasons why people fail to be persistent. And it was really good because I used that list to go through and say, okay, what's something that I lack or what's something that I can work on? And is 100% the one that I actually ended up circling 3 of them. And for me personally, the second or number 2, when he says procrastination with or without a cause, procrastination with or without a cause, usually backed up with a formidable array of alibi and excuses. And so I am the queen of procrastination. It's just in my nature. I think it's something I struggle with that I am trying to overcome because I know I can. And I just like what stood out to me with that one is with or without a cause. Like, it doesn't matter why you're procrastinating, you're still procrastinating and you're still getting the negative results that you're getting. It doesn't matter if you have an excuse for it or not. And I like that a lot. And then also number 11, lack of organized plans placed in writing where they may be analyzed. Organization is not another one of my super strong skills, to say the least. And then the last one, and I wasn't expecting this one, and this one too is, I think, what we can probably have a discussion on. And I think we had a discussion on it last week too, is 16, fear of criticism, failure to create plans and put them into action because of what other people will think, do, or say. This enemy belongs to the head of the list because it generally exists in one's subconscious mind where its presence is not recognized. And so those are the 3 things that I think that hinders my persistence.
I think 16 is so important because so many people struggle with that. They're just, it's always, not always, but it's usually the fear of criticism from people close to them.
Exactly.
And that's why what I love about this chapter is that it talks about that because it is such an issue. One lady that I worked with that's here in Arizona, that we were talking about that exact thing. And, a lot of times, I can't remember if it was on here we talked about it or somewhere else I talked about it. A lot of times it happens from something that was said to you when you might have been 6 years old, and something always triggers it, that it always, oh, I wish Jen was on, because it was actually her and I that had this conversation. But something that was said when you're a little kid that still triggers thoughts when certain things come up now, that you think, why am I thinking that way? But it was something dumb from, a generation ago.
Well, he even mentions in that paragraph that this one's the most dangerous one, because oftentimes it's in our subconscious and we don't even realize it. And once something's in your subconscious, it's really hard to get out. And I think that's the whole point of this entire book, is try to train our subconscious to act in a way that will have us perform in a certain way. And when we have those negative thoughts in our subconscious, and it's so hard to get out because they've been there since we were 6 years old, then it's that I feel like this whole book is him trying to cleanse our subconscious of all the crap that we've put into it over the years, without even realizing that we've put that crap in there. And oftentimes too, it's not even some things that people have said to me, like close friends and family have said to me directly. It's even stuff that they've said about other people that you have to stop and think to yourself, well, if that's what they're saying about so-and-so, what are they saying about me? And so you start to create these stupid scenarios that aren't even true. You have no idea if they're true or not, but you're just thinking to yourself oh, if they said that about so-and-so, then I'm sure they said this about me. And then I'm so bad at that, coming up with these, because my mind never shuts off ever. And I have these internal stories going on in my mind all the time. And 99% of them are just made up, but yet your brain tricks you trick yourself into thinking that they're true. And it's just, talk about a head case. But it's pretty powerful to try to, or not powerful, it's pretty, I would like suggestions from people on how to block that and get rid of that continual fear of criticism from those that you love. And I think that's why.
Go get you a remote control car, play a game, go do something that has nothing to do with business or what you're thinking about.
I think that's a good idea. And I think that's why I love TikTok so much. I'm on TikTok, I go on and off, but I think I can do TikTok so well, because anybody that's ever said anything negative about me that I know personally, that their opinion does matter to me, aren't on TikTok at all. And so anybody that I worry about criticizing me isn't on there. So I think that's why I'm so free on TikTok, and I'm totally okay doing it.
But let me ask you this. Would you care if whoever that person or persons is, would you care if they was to criticize you about anything right now?
I think so. I think there's very few people that could get to me like that. Very, very, very few, but there's still a few. And I think there's a couple people in my life where if they got on TikTok and started criticizing me or criticizing what I'm doing with me and my ADHD or anything at all, I keep that really hidden from a few people in my life, that it would it would take me years to get certain comments out of my mind. And I don't know.
You know how you probably teach your kids not to do this, but you know how you want to go nah, you stick your tongue out type stuff. What will it take for you to get to that point to where you do something like that? I mean, they may criticize you about it. When they come criticize you about it, you go back and do it again.
I don't know. I think I'm better at it the older I get, but I don't know. I always get torn because I don't want to knock somebody down to make them seem unimportant to me.
That's not knocking nobody down.
I know, but I guess
so. I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I think it's something. I've always been a people pleaser. And
but you know what? I think one of the problems is that story you're telling in your head. The results are usually not what you've created in your head. Even if they do think or say something that you would rather them not, it's usually not to the degree you're thinking. My podcast tomorrow morning is on courage and confidence, and I talk about that to have confidence, it starts with having courage to do something. And courage it's never comfortable, and that's really where procrastination comes in, because you either for whatever reason you're putting it off. But when you can have the courage to do it, that's going to build your confidence. And so you doing your TikToks and stuff like that, that's why it gets easier every time. Because I mean, even with my podcasts, I honestly was hoping that my own family would never hear them. And my brothers and stuff, and now they have. It's like, okay, not a big deal, I hope they listen to them. But with courage, as you do something, you put yourself out there to take the chance. And once you have the courage to do something, it starts to create that little seed of confidence. And so you do it again, then you got more confidence, and it just builds on each other. And so it's courage is never comfortable. And I actually posted something on Instagram within the last few days, and I think it said, confidence is not saying they will like me. Confidence is saying I'm okay if they don't. And so that's the same with what you're doing. Confidence is saying I'm okay if they don't like what I'm doing, or they think I'm being dumb or whatever.
I love it.
Real quick, let me ask Jeff real quick. I have somebody texting me. Do you mind if they jump in?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna send them the information. Okay, sorry, Liz.
No, that's awesome. More the merrier. I promise I'll be nice to them if they think differently than me.
Yeah, Cameron and Liz will chase them off, but
if you don't chicken out.
No, going along with that. I also read or I saw something on Instagram the other day too that I really liked. Is when's the last time that you asked yourself if you liked them rather than if they liked you? And that I really, because I have been so bad at that. I stopped and thought about it. I'm like, I never think to myself whether I like somebody or not. Like, I've always immediately jumped to, oh, I wonder if they like me. I wonder if they like me. And then that was pretty powerful for me. It's like, oh, I've got to start asking myself first if I even like them. And going through all of this like hassle and worry and anxiety, trying to get people that doesn't matter what you do, you're never gonna, like, if they're the type of person to criticize you over your dreams and good things that you're trying to do in the world, then they're probably the type of person that would criticize you no matter what you did, because they have their own issues, right? So,
well, and that's a good point. How many times are you worried about what someone thinks of you when you're really not even thinking about, otherwise you wouldn't think about them. Like, you don't care for them or whatever, right? And chances are they're not thinking of you.
Probably. No, if someone's the type of person to criticize another person for going for their dreams and goals, they're probably a narcissist that just thinks about themselves anyways. So,
do you ever, just like when you get ready to do your TikToks, when you get on your TikTok, you come up with whatever idea that you come up with, right? Yeah. When you come up with that idea, you just do it. Whether you involve your kids or not, you just kind of do it. So, because TikTok is like your outlet in a way, what if you had that exact same mindset when you do the other stuff on people's thoughts?
I just need to, my best work has always been, and I don't know if it's just because of the way that some people really do need time to really figure it out and make, my best stuff always comes just on the cuff, oftentimes when I do things, the best things that I do come at the most random, inconvenient times. And so I've had to really just kind of stop and learn just to do things, because I suffer from paralysis by analysis so bad. If I catch myself analyzing anything for longer than a few minutes, it paralyzes me and I talk myself out of it like that. So I just, like, I remember, Jeff, you'll appreciate this story, but up in Alberta, in Lethbridge, which is the main city where actually Jeff worked and lived near, and I lived near it too for a little while. There's a university, and at the university, they have an Olympic-sized pool, and they also have the Olympic-sized massive diving boards that are platforms. And at the university, I remember being a kid and going there, and I wouldn't, like, how tall is that diving board, do you think, Jeff? Do you know?
It's probably 6 feet.
6 feet. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It's big. It's big.
It's an Olympic-sized platform. It's probably 30 feet up in there. I'm not even kidding. It's got to be like 3 stories high, right? And as a 12-year-old girl, I'd go up there and I'd just jump off like it was nothing. I'd never think about it. And I actually remember that all the time, because as I got older and I was in my 20s and I was going to the university there, I went there one day and I got to the top and I thought, oh, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I got to the edge and I'm like, there's no way in crap I'm jumping off this board. Like, I stood up there and I looked down, and I'm not even scared of heights. Mm-hmm. I just said, So I just never, like, I talked myself out of it, even though I've done this before. And so a lot of times when I get into those modes where I talk myself out of doing something that I know would benefit me, just because I don't want the criticism, I don't want the failure, I just think of that story and think that, okay, I need to harness my 6-year-old Liz, not my, older adult Liz in this situation, and don't even look over the edge. Just walk up and just run off and just be okay with it, So anyways.
Awesome. All right, take a moment here. Is it Kano? Is that how you say it?
Yep, Kano.
Kano, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Take a second and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Kano. I'm a videographer. I have my own production company, Kano Productions. And me and Miss Melissa, we've been working for some years, and she's been helping me out a lot on behind the business and everything.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Glad to have you on with us.
Yes, sir.
So just to tell you a little bit what we're doing right now, we've been reading as a group, Think and Grow Rich. And so right now we've just been talking about chapter 9, which is on persistence. And so we've just been kind of discussing that. And then in a short little bit here, we're going to wrap that up and just talk more business stuff. So.
Okay.
Cool. Any other thoughts on that and additions to what Liz has been talking about?
She hit everything on, as always, Liz hits it on the head.
Yep, she's got it. She's got it covered. Yep.
Perfect.
It would help if you guys read the book.
I know. That's why I was like, I hope she's I was just thinking when I laughed, I'm like, I hope she doesn't think we're making fun of her. We just haven't read the book. So she's got it. Yep, she did. So she's got it covered.
She covered. I'm following. I'm on number 16. I read with her. So, yep. She's covered.
I'm with you, Liz. I read it. So we're good.
Next week, Karen. Well, I don't say next week. Maybe the week after, Karen and I,
we'll get on it. Yep.
What do you mean? Maybe the week after? You're already saying you're not going to read it next week?
No, we got to catch up. We have to catch up because I want to be sure when we get through percent.
Okay, why don't we move on to the first floor?
How often y'all have a Zoom call?
Power of the mastermind. So I know we're going to be on it, right, Cameron?
Exactly. Yep. So next week is going into the power of the mastermind. So it would be great to have y'all read that. And if not, Liz will fill us in.
Okay, you guys, though, I'm going to say this now. I've been reading ahead. And you guys are going to have to jump in on chapter 11 because I'm not carrying this discussion all by myself.
What is chapter 11?
Oh,
Oh, the mystery of sex
that's the book.
transmutation. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no lie. I said that when I was taking a shower today. I need to read on something about that.
Okay, now I'm in.
There you go.
Hey,
Okay.
and what chapter is that? Can I just
That's
skip
a good
ahead?
thing
11.
or a
Can I
bad
just skip?
thing.
What chapter is that?
This is a
That's it.
chapter 11, and I'm not leading this discussion. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
Okay.
not here with
Can I just skip ahead and read just that chapter? Would that?
Absolutely. You read that now, and so in 2 weeks when we get to that one, you can be the lead on it.
There we go. There we go.
I'm a read it. I'm gonna read it tonight.
So how to develop persistence. Definitely.
Awesome.
So,
All
okay,
right.
let me ask you this, Liz, since you were talking about your persistence and all of that. When you got to the section where how to develop persistence, did that give you any pointers or anything to help with what you're talking about?
I think, yeah. Just a second. Let me go back to my notes here, like super fast. And he actually said, what stood out to me? Oh, yeah, on page 215 in my book, he kind of gives a little bit of a definition of what persistence is. And that kind of stood out to me because I'm like, oh, if I look at persistence as, or not quitting, as concentration of effort and definiteness of purpose. And so I think it's just something that Jeff has been teaching me right from the beginning. Like one of the very first phone calls I ever had with Jeff is just when Jeff starts talking to any one of us or any of his clients, what's the very first thing he has us do? Is find your why, your purpose. Like that is like the number one thing, and that's the number one thing that people go back to when they're ready to quit, when they're ready to stop doing what they want to be doing. The very first thing Jeff and everybody, any good coach at all will tell you to find your why, stick to your why, remember your why, your why. And so that and I think it goes along with people, and I have to remember that why too. Like when it comes to the criticism that I may get from my sister, that's who I'm talking about. She's never gonna see this, so I don't care. It's like my sister that I've always butted heads with. Like she's 18 months older than I am. Personality wise, we're identical. Points of view wise, we're polar opposite. And she's being mean. Like I'm nice. I'm a nice person. But my older sister is mean. She's like a total biatch. I'm sorry. Okay, she'll never see this. Okay, so I'm okay saying this. Okay.
Even if she did see it, so what?
I'm just laughing because I was like, oh, you have one of those too? I thought it was
in every family.
That's why I'm like, okay, so what?
Anyways, like I just have to and she's just so good at saying those little comments that you add your own narrative to. And I hate that I add my own narrative to, and I'm just like, because we are the narrators of our own life, right? We're the narrators of our life. And we get to say what we give meaning to and what certain things mean. And that's our choice. That's the power that each of us has. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what opportunities you've had. It doesn't matter anything. You have the power to choose. You are the narrator of your life. And I don't care if my sister, I have to start realizing that I don't care what my sister meant by that comment. What it means to me is my choice. And what it means to me is my narrative. And I forget that. It's really easy for me to understand that now. It's easy for me to give that advice to the whole world. But for whatever reason, I swear, she's just the one person in the whole world that gets under my skin faster than anybody else. And I don't know how to and she lives over in England. I don't even have to see her. I haven't seen her for ages, but yet it's just this, I don't know. I just have to I have to be the one that just remembers my purpose, remembers my why, and give meaning to certain those times where she does say super rude stuff, like how having 5 kids has ruined my life and I shouldn't have had so many kids in my life. Anyways, I'll go into
Oh, I would love to talk to her. I would have fun.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, but
I would have fun.
oh, I can tell you stories. So, anyways, but yeah, I think I really like that that paragraph where how he explains it is concentration of effort. So just concentrate on what you're doing. Don't concentrate on anything else. And definiteness of purpose. And I think that's what's going to take to get over anything that, like, if you go back to those reasons why people quit or give up, that's those 16 things that you list. I think each one of them you can overcome with those two things.
Yeah.
With knowing your why and with like having a purpose and a concentrated effort.
Well, and the other part is, you know, he goes into there, the necessary steps are, and he gives 4 steps. The last one, he doesn't say it this way, but he says a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plans and purpose. That's just someone that's going to hold you accountable. So if you know that's something, yeah. So if you know that's something you struggle with, yeah, that's why when we're done here, the first thing we're asking about is Liz's podcast.
What about this one here, Liz? They are the steps that lead to freedom and independence of thought.
Where's that?
Right.
That is, look, see, I read something in here. See, if you look under the one Jeff just read, number 4, and you go down, you see that small paragraph, and then it goes.
Oh yeah.
It's the second one. And then the steps that lead to steps that lead the way to power, fame, worldly recognition, guarantee favorable breaks, convert dreams into physical realities. So this is kind of some of the things that, especially that second one, with worrying about the other issue with your sister and other people. I mean, it's your independence of thought.
And Liz, I mean, that's what I'm so glad we started with this book, because I think you're digging into this, and I think, you're probably having a real impact on this, and hopefully this is stuff that you'll be able to implement that does change that for you.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'm 37 years old, and like I don't know what life is like without that negative statements being poured into my life. And so it's in my subconscious. It's the first thing I think about every time I start something new or want to do something different than maybe what's normal for my family or me, and it's just, I don't know, this book has been really powerful because I've always thought that our minds are powerful tools, and that you just have to learn how to harness it, which I don't know if ironic's the right word, but as someone that is legitimately has ADHD, and my mind's one of those things that may seem broken to other people, I think that is actually, if you can learn how to harness that energy that comes with having ADHD, or just any energy that anybody has, I just think that there's just legitimately a ton of power in each of our minds, a ton of power. And I've just loved this because I've been trying to consciously apply these steps to my life. And I may not see millions in the bank account this year or next year, but I just kind of I'll just share this with you because you guys, I've just known, and Keno, bear with me, sorry. You're just meeting me now. But you guys know what a religious person I am and how my spirituality is something that's just always has been very important to me, right? And so, but the other night, after I was reading this book and going through and doing the steps and doing things that he's asked us to do and being diligent with those things, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just had this because I went to bed thinking to myself, stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I've always done what I'm supposed to do. But the big break or whatever, I feel I'm that'll never be me. But I just remember waking up in the middle of the night a couple of weeks ago And just this overwhelming feeling of it's going to happen to you. It's going to be okay. It's going to happen to you. It may not, the timing is out of my control, but as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the time will come. You just have to trust in the process and just be persistent, like this chapter says. And just in an earlier chapter, I think it was last week, because I wrote it down on my computer so I can stare at it every day. And it is, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. And it's so simple. It's just such a simple thing that, like, as someone, like, I've played sports my whole life. I played basketball for years and years. And so models like that I've heard many times in my life, but that really stuck out to me as, well, a quitter never wins. So if you quit, then for sure you'll never win. And so that just, anyway, so having that moment and that experience in the middle of the night was what my heart needed, is what my mind needed. And it was that he always talks about having a really powerful emotion tied to your decisions to really make them stronger and make you want to be persistent and dedicated to that purpose, is when you tie certain feelings in with it. And so that was like our emotions with it. And so I don't know, I just feel like for me, yes, it'll come. I just can't quit. It's not going to be an overnight thing in any way. I'll probably be one of those stories where I say I've been at this for 10 years and I finally got to where my first million in the bank. You know, it's probably going to take me a while, but.
And that's when they'll say you're an overnight success.
Exactly. That's when everybody else that doesn't know me outside my mastermind, like, you know, 10 years from now, when they, you know, and you're right. A lot of people think that the overnight success, who says that they were it was the best 10-year overnight success story ever? I don't know. I just heard a phrase or something like that. And it's so true. Lasting success anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. All right. Anything else on that? Okay. Well, we're going to continue with you, Liz. Where are you at with the podcasts?
So podcast. No, I haven't recorded like I should have been, but like I said, this week I finally, and what I think has helped is doing TikToks again. Being good with my TikToks has actually translated and transferred over into my writing. And this week I have this writer's block that's been holding me back, I swear, for the longest time. I still have my first podcast recorded. I did do my first one, but I'm really excited because what I'm writing right now that is full of content that I will be able to easily like just pull from. So I'm writing out my story right now. And Jeff and I were kind of talking about this earlier, and I haven't decided how I want to present my story, whether I want one long, almost like a book, or I just take it and I break it up and I put it into multiple blog posts on my website, which is what I'll be doing. And so I have the foundation that over the last couple of days, I've been able to put together amazing content when it comes to the website. And so I'm really excited about that. I think I just need to just give myself a deadline, as in like this time next week, I'm going to have 5 more podcasts recorded. That's what I'm going to say. There's a definite plan that I'm supposed to do. So I will have 5 more podcasts recorded by this time next week.
Are you sure about that? I saw Jeff pick his pen and paper up.
I know. I saw that.
Yep.
I'm committed now. I'm committed.
It wasn't a pencil. I can't erase that, so it's on. Okay.
But
all right, we're gonna make sure you're there. Okay, awesome. Or else your trip to Houston's canceled.
I can't do that to Eli.
Yeah, your trip to Houston. Yep.
He talks about it every day.
Oh, well, Jeff's gonna have to deal with Eli then.
Eli's my plan B. He's my retirement plan. So Houston has to work out.
Awesome. All right. What else we got going on? What are you dealing with, Melissa?
Still coming up with plans on marketing the studio and doing videos. Getting ready to lay out the next magazine issue, and podcasts. So a mixture of all of that. And then I've been pulled into some international meetings that was not planned, but it happened. So just going with the flow right now.
Yeah.
Can I ask what those international meetings are about or for or anything like that? That's interesting.
All of the I'm more on I'm more on like the marketing and putting together sponsorship packages and stuff like that. But majority of the conversations is medical. The one that's actually one tomorrow is going to be on breast cancer, and each one that she's doing is going to be on certain in certain categories. So I think the next one's going to be on not oncology, podiatry. Then we're going to go to OBGYN, and she's going to do each section. And it's going to be doctors from various countries that's jumping on the call. And they're going to do a presentation about whatever topic or their specialty is. Some of them have their own inventions that they came up with for their particular practice, and certain medical equipment that they recommend, why, and share some of the success stories. So each one of them, it'll be on different categories in medical.
Cool. Is that how do you say it? Is it Micheline? Yeah. Is that who it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah, she is, I don't know what you want to call her, but she's like this hub, basically. It's like everybody, she is a huge resource in that market. She's built her connections up over the years, and now she's just kind of all over the place where people from all over the world literally contact her for resources, to be a part of her roundtables and everything. She's on not a board, but I think some type of advisor with the CDC. So she's kind of in a lot of big, medical type stuff that she's involved in. So she's like a hub that everybody flocks to for resources, information. A lot of people know her, and she's very, very well respected in that medical community, if you will.
Cool.
So yeah.
So what's the biggest struggle you're dealing with right now?
Reading Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, that's on the struggle list.
Okay, I'm gonna try to help you with that.
No, put your pad down. Don't hold me to nothing right now, please.
I'll remind you.
Okay. You hear that, Cameron?
All right, Cameron, what do you got going on?
Oh, she got very quiet.
No, yeah, I got a situation happening over here. I just don't understand why people can't read agreements, I guess.
Well, hey, welcome to the real world.
I know, right? It amazes me that people just, it's 10 pages. It's not like it's not very detailed. I don't understand why it's so complicated. You read it before you sign it. But
well,
yeah,
that's her struggle, Jeff. There you go.
I was gonna say,
there
she started off with her struggle. We know what that is.
There's my struggle. Somebody give me a solution. I mean, it's not like there's, it was written by a lawyer, but I also wanted, like, the lawyer made sure that it was not like,
it was simple term.
Yeah, like they did not go ridiculous to where you had to look up a dictionary for half the words. Like I made sure that it was very clear, but it just still amazes me at not reading a contract. Don't sign it if you don't understand it. Ask questions. Like that's what I do.
Right.
But yeah, now I'm dealing with a a very angry person that just, I mean, they got an executed copy of it. Go back, reference it. It clearly states. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Anyways, so what were we talking about?
just what your biggest struggles are right now, anything that this group could help you with.
Well, we've decided to completely revamp our pricing structure.
Okay.
Even though, like, yes, that we do have some clients who love the whole package idea. However, it has become because we've gone from like 2019 pricing that some people were on to 2020 pricing that other people got on. It's become so all in my head, which obviously helps nobody, because I'm not always available to answer the questions when my husband goes to do invoicing. So we've just decided to streamline everything. It's all hourly.
Okay.
You get like a certain discount if you pay on time and you've been with us for so many months. That's it. It's just an automatic in QuickBooks, an automatic percentage that you get off if you have those two things in common, on time, and you've been with us for, I think you agreed on 2 months. And then, there's referral program where you can, if you refer somebody to us, you can use that referral rewards either to go against your invoice if you're a current client, or you get cash back. So very simplified, so that I can stop living in my head of who gets what and when.
Right.
So that's what we're dealing with, and coming up with the whole new structure, and yeah, fun times.
Anything that this group could give you any thoughts or feedback on? Or are you
Well,
good?
I know part of that whole change was from what Liz was saying last week about it was very confusing with the, how many hours, if I buy 15 hours, how much does it actually take? So thank you, Liz, because you are part of that decision to simplify life for everybody. So that helped last week kind of make me realize, okay, we've got to simplify this. So I guess my only question is, like, does that, with all of you knowing what all services we do, does that make more sense? I guess.
I mean, yeah, you should definitely have some type of simplified packages and something they could go straight to. But and I'm sure you are, but being open to someone that want a mixture of something that you don't currently have packaged together to customize whatever that may be, but at the same time keeping the pricing close to your other packages.
Oh yeah, no, we're eliminating packages altogether. There's no more 15-hour bundle, 25-hour bundle, nothing. It is strictly hourly, and that way it's still buffet style. And we help them, like, so the way we are doing it is, and this is based off of research, talking to other agencies, and so there's an onboarding cost, and that includes like so many hours of the business analysis, evaluation, a strategy, so that that person came on, they now know what we're recommending. All of that onboarding cost is, or all of that strategy and business analysis, evaluation, all that is part of that onboarding cost, because if you can't invest that amount of money in your own business, how serious are you? Mm-hmm. But two, you're still getting even if you're like, can't do all of this now, that's fine. I mean, it's pick and choose. It's still buffet style of what we put together. We're just putting out a strategy, like a 30, 60, 90 day. And then they can, walk away and go find a $10 Upwork outsourced person, fine. But at least our time is no longer being wasted like it has been in the past.
I thought I had too, Cameron, I was talking to my husband, and who, how he has a CFO business, but there is an aspect of his job that he kind of wastes his time with simple bookkeeping procedures that he wishes that he could just hire somebody to do. And so we were just talking about it, and that thought just came to me as you were talking, and you've already hired Megan, but what if you, right from the beginning, what if there is a group of clients or customers that you could have tapped into by offering them like a super simple package where it says for $1,500, we'll get you a simple website, boom. Megan, you have somebody, not you, because your mind is far too busy with big clients, right? And so have someone like either Megan or hire another employee where that's all they do. They take these simple clients that there's a huge market for, like people like me that are like clueless when it comes to the setup process of everything, and are just looking for simplified things, and just saying, hey, for $1,500, we'll get you all set up on your social media accounts, a simple web page, bada boom, bada bing, here you go, have a nice life. And away they go.
Branding package. I mean, that's where, especially when you have a staff, that's where a lot of that should be outsourced to where, I mean, of course you get the final check off before is finalized, but I don't know if that's going to put you in a point of, because where your mind goes and the things that you may be thinking, you may look at what they've done like, oh no, we're going to do this all over because of blah, 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 blah. And it's not that it was done badly. It's just that you saw a different vision for it. Would that mess you up to where you would get too involved and you shouldn't?
So it's funny you mentioned, the DIY package or something, because that's what I was thinking. But then me and my husband spent all weekend researching. And when it comes to agencies who fail have the packages to where, okay, you get, and just using Liz's example, for $1,500, you get a website and this. They stay small forever because they never see past that package deal or the value proposition, which Jeff, if you remember, was in the Slack channel that a certain somebody was recommending. That is also the two fails of an agency, is the value proposition, where everything is based on, you can spend 20 hours for something that should have only taken 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Versus, or a package deal, because that 15 hours, one, it's not fair to the person who wants a website and has 40 pages versus the person who wants a website and they only have 3. That's not, even though, yes, you are counteracting that cost, it's not fair to that person who only has 3 pages. And that is, when it comes to agency pricing, those two are the worst things you can ever do if you want to grow. Is like, that's what so many agency blogs, as well as like coaches for agencies, everything have said, is those two are the absolute worst you can do if you want to continue to grow and bring on the clients who can afford, a $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month retainer package, is pigeonholing them into these different costs. And, of course, if I'm somebody who has 40 pages and I see $1,500, well, I'm going to bug the heck out of you to make sure I get my 40 pages, perfect. But then you have the little guy who is paying the exact same price, and he's like, well, this is all I can afford. I only need 3 pages. Well, he's getting screwed compared to the 40-hour, the 40-page guy.
If he's paying the exact same amount, then yeah. But see, that means that the person that says, okay, I just need a basic website, I only need 3 pages, to me, that's a starter. And most starters don't quite understand the same thing as a person that's been in business for a while, that want 10, 20, 30, 40 pages. So those starters eat one or two things. Either you can separate your departments or company to strictly deal with starters only and help them build. And yes, you may be starting out and you get 3 pages, but of course you have to grow past that. So now that person, and it's up to them to do that investment in their business, to go back and say, let me get with a coach, let me get with somebody to help me, develop my business and grow, to do certain things, because everybody start differently. And I get that. But if they don't, it's one of the things, if you don't know, then you don't know. You think that you're doing, the right thing. So maybe there could be something in there to where you do a referral, or maybe there's some type of funnel or something where you could lead them to Jeff. And then when he see that, they may say, say Jeff have whatever funnel package, they come in, they get a freebie or whatever, and the funnel just kind of does its thing. And then they could kind of start trickling into that, and then get into some of his courses, and then they start learning, understanding, and growing. So that could be a thing, or you just don't deal with starters at all. Even though they may have 1,500 or 3
right.
pages, just don't deal with starters at all.
Well, and I think,
Hey, Cameron, I just had another idea. I don't know if this could help your company at all, or you'd even want to go down this road, but what if you had, because Melissa brought up a really good point, the fact that when I first got in contact with you, I had zero idea how to even interact with the marketing company. I had zero idea what to expect. I had zero idea what I should prepare for or anything like that, right? So I wonder if there is some way that Needham Solutions could come up with some sort of, now this is like a totally different branch, and this is like off subject, and this is just like a random idea that just popped in my head. What if you did some sort of had Megan do some sort of like educational type situation, like where, I don't know, just like a way to, I don't know, like incorporate maybe future clients, that when they do get to the point where they understand what's going on, they want those 40 pages, they're big ticket clients, they kind of like remember you, like you kind of get them when they're just starting. I don't know if that's just way too much work, and there's not enough money in that aspect of like having some sort of like separate educational.
But it goes to that person.
No, I mean, I would, I would love to do that. It's just, there's no time in the day to, I mean, like we should have our own blog. We should have a lot of stuff. And we have put together webinars for like the expos and stuff. And yeah, we need to break those up and put them on social media in little bits and pieces for the educational piece. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, it is just me and Megan on that marketing side. And while, yes, we have some great clients, we're tapped out as far as time for Needham Solution stuff. And
oh yeah, you would have to hire someone that's totally like a separate.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking that this is not something that you would ever do, it's just something that, I don't know, someone like Megan, someone fresh out of college, or that understands enough to teach people like me that's new to the world and just wants like simple, I don't know.
But it goes back to that person. If that person is not ready or don't want to do it, it's not going to matter anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It has to, because and I checked with him, he said it was okay. So like Kano, when he first started, he started with his camera and he just shot wedding photography. and some of his prices was like dirt cheap low. But because he knew that he wanted to do more than just that, that was the start to get your feet wet, do stuff. You know, he didn't have a website, he didn't have anything. He got a camera and just went out there and started beating the street. Pretty much is what happened. And you know, some of the stuff he was telling me, I'm like, you know what? And you know, we talked about certain things and he changed certain things, but over time the individual wanted to have more, and because the individual wanted to have more, you do what you have to do. And now, you know, doing the things that he's doing, you know, he's doing the front end of the business, you know, how he want to do it. But that individual has to have that persistence to move.
Persistence and passion. Yeah. Yeah.
They may stop at that website, because I hear a lot of people, oh, I went got a DBA, I'm a business owner. Like, okay, now what you gonna do? You know?
Yeah. Or they think a Facebook page is their website, which, oh my
yeah.
God.
You know, and a lot of it, Cameron, comes down to, you know, you are with two of you, you've got your limited capabilities. So who's your avatar? Who is it that is your ideal client? And that's where you're going to spend your energy. I mean, because if you're spending all your energy with a bunch of startups that you have to spend more time with because they don't understand that, it takes more time, effort, and energy. Or do you want to focus on the more of the higher end client where you're getting bigger fees and doing better jobs? And so it all comes down to that. And, you know, maybe it is a mix, but I think even if you're doing it on an hourly basis, those, you know, 2-page websites, it is going to cost them less. So,
right. Well, and I think, because another part of our research was all about, you know your worth. And we're still like, even with our new pricing structure, we're still like half of what other agencies cost. And knowing that we have numerous agencies as our own clients because we do the work behind the scenes for them, I know what kind of profit they're making. And and so that's why my husband was like, seriously, why do you not just go strictly hourly, flat across the board? They're still making a profit. Your value to them is still there. And so it came down to really like looking at what they were saying for especially very small agencies starting out. The value thing doesn't work, and the packaging, the different services doesn't work for a small agency trying to grow. But the one key thing is know your worth.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, and my husband always asks me, why are you so afraid of raising your prices? Well, because I'm afraid of losing the clients I have now. I really like them. I love my clients. But at the same time, if they think I'm an asset, then why would they not be okay with a couple dollars extra? It comes down to knowing your worth. And, we've either given you value or we haven't, but hopefully we have. I mean, right now, since I started this in the beginning of last year, I've only had 2 people complain. One of them right now. So, and both of them came down to not reading their agreement. It wasn't anything we did. It wasn't anything like the quality wasn't there. It was they didn't read the fact that, yes, if you keep having meetings with us, that is billed against your time.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, knowing your worth comes down to a lot of it, because, when you look at it, and it's, again, who do you want as your clientele? Because usually the clients that are going to have the bigger packages and doing bigger projects, they're easier to work with too. They well, yeah, not always.
Not all. There's been some where they know they need all the help, but then they're like, we are so disorganized. We have no idea what we want to send you. We just know we have everything to send you. And it's like, could you give me a little more than that? It's tough. I mean, it is tough being on the agency side. I mean, agency side is not easy, and I get now why a lot of agencies charge 200, 250 in New York area, 300 an hour. We're nowhere near that, and are still the ones doing the work for those agencies who charge that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Quite the conundrum.
All right. Well, I am going to have to wrap up quick here, but before we do, I want to give Kano a chance too. Do you have anything that you wanted to discuss with the group?
Well, I'm gonna start reading the book because I've been wanting to get with a mastermind group for the longest. But like one of my close friends, he had a mastermind group, and the only way to get in that mastermind group, you had to have a 700 credit score. And I was like at a 650, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna find a mastermind group one day. Now here I am, and they started off with Think and Grow Rich book and everything like that, but I don't know. It was kind of, I guess friends ain't friends when you get older. Like he mastered, what he wanted to do, and he was fixing everybody credit and everything, and that's how he got successful with his business. But then once you gain that success, his head just went all the way left, and the people that we all grew around, he just went that way. So I don't want to, be like that once I master what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah.
Which is like reading books. I just started reading not too long ago because those was one of my goals this year, to start reading different books like Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon, the Forex books and stuff like that. So I'm just ready to start learning with y'all guys.
Cool. Well, I'll send a link to Melissa and she can forward it to you. Because we'd like you to join us. We've got a good group
really
here, and we have some
appreciate
great conversations. And
Did you just say the mastermind group had to have a credit score of something high?
You have to have a 700
I was like,
to
what?
get in.
Wow.
And like,
that
wow.
has nothing to do. Yeah.
And like,
thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one that was like, whoa, what?
You have to have a 700, but I guess I wasn't supposed to be with that group, because I know people that didn't have a 700 was at the 500 and they got in. But I'm glad I'm with one now.
Yeah, I don't check your credit score.
You just check to see if anybody read the book.
That's right.
Well, then me and Melissa would be kicked out instantly. So, so there goes even that check.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting Cliff's notes.
Hush, Cameron, hush.
Oh, darn it, that was a secret. No, just kidding. We're not. We're totally not.
We're reading, Jeff. We're gonna read.
We are reading. Yes, we will read.
I just emailed Melissa the link that she can forward to you, so that'll be perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And we will catch you all next week. And we got some accountability things I'll follow up with, and looking forward to it.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Nice to meet you, Kano.
Bye.
Nice to meet
you guys.